Hello, I wanted to speak about the idea, the notion in the society, especially in the spiritual, but also in therapy, self help, self healing communities and trends. This notion of this idea of meditation, right? Meditation is now like one of the most popular techniques in the world, right? This meditation and that which meditation wants to show you, like you being the observer of life, right? You being the awareness. I would just like to discuss a little bit about it because we now live in a society where anybody can give an opinion, anybody can voice an opinion, and we need to practice, we need to start practicing. It's about time to practice your discernment, right? Because many people speak and many people deceive because they speak from disembodiment, right? So the biggest problem in this world is not the Satan himself, but the people that pretend to know, right? People that pretend to know. You have Satan that is infiltrating himself and putting lies into society. And then you have mature people which test everything that society produced through their own bodily experience, so therefore embodiment, and can see through embodiment what actually is the truth and what is the lie, right? There are few people that are like this, not many people are embodied. And then there are the people that are too fearful and weak to test out life, to face it, accept it, to love it. And because they are too fearful, they don't then speak from embodiment because they fear it, the physical experience of life, which is actually king, right? Your physical experience is the king in life, is that which you should depend on, right? Because if spirituality doesn't work on all levels on life, on the abstract, but then also on the physical, if it can't be implemented into the life, if it doesn't give proof on the physical grounded practical bodily level of life, it isn't worth much, right? And so then you have the people that are fearful of this, of the experience of life, and then they just think about it, overanalyze it, live in the mind about it, speak from head, from mind, right? So from ego. And many people that are weak, they are too weak to accept to themselves and to the humanity that they don't know, because they are unworthy. They want to be accepted by society. They don't want to be rejected because rejection is our ultimate trauma. And so, because people are too weak to process their own fears, trauma, fear is just an effect of the trauma, right? You being rejected, now fearing being rejected. And so, because people are too weak to be rejected, being honest, not knowing about life because we don't know many things, right? Then they pretend to know, right? And people that pretend to know, they only pretend because they are unworthy, because they didn't process their own dissociation, their own hurt, and then wanting to please people, stay connected to them because they fear being rejected, right? And so weak people, unworthy people then pretend to know even though they actually don't know. And so they lie, manipulate, and deceive people, then blind leading the blind, right? So these are the most dangerous people, the weak, fearful people, disembodied people. These are the most dangerous. If you ask me, these are the people that make all of the shit on the planet, right? Not the Satan because he just won and he got a few people, but all of the rest of the mass of the people that are just unconscious and fearful. And so, because a strong person doesn't have anything to prove, right? A powerful person doesn't have anything to prove and doesn't need anything from you, isn't seeking validation anymore, isn't seeking being connected because it can stand on your own. It can stand on its own, right? It is an autonomous, independent, mature human being. So it doesn't need any more safety from the group, right? Because they have faced their own fear of rejection and they are healed and they can admit to not know, right? And these people are the safest ones. So I want to speak a little bit about this meditation and the observer notion in this world being preached and glorified as something, a salvation, some very high level realization, when it is actually not, when it is actually deception. We must realize that Satan has infiltrated already in all areas, all trends, all communities in this life, everyone, and especially in the spiritual one, in the self-help healing therapy one, right? Even in the psychology one, right? Where people are just then, because of disembodiment, then just regurgitating like a parrot, repeating what the previous generations have spoken about. That's it. Like, this idea of meditation and observer is nothing new. It is already probably a centuries old idea, I don't know. And for decades, for sure, at least as far as we can remember, we have it recorded. So I would just like to prove to you why actually this is an illusion and a deception, right? They will even sell it to us, a meditation as in the medicine, right? What a practice that you need in your life, right? Like trying to prove that we need something more than the life itself, right? You need to become the observer of life. Like there is some kind of special technique practice that you have to do in life to realize something higher than the life itself, right? Or that you need to practice something because life is so burdening, and in order to survive this life you have to depend on meditation and on this observer role, right? But actually let's look at it, let's look at it let's look at it a little bit closely, right? A little bit closer. So life is as it is, we don't control it, we didn't make it, right? Life is as it is, and life is every second of our life, every moment of our life, it is being presented to us, this moment, our individual experience of life. It is constantly now and then now, and now in every second of life is being presented to us as it is, holistically on all levels of life, right? It is constantly presented to us holistically on all levels in our individual experience. And so it is already here, right? It is already here. It is already here, right? So there is nothing you can do because we are not controlling what will unfold in life. We are not controlling that. The life unfolds and it presents to us, right? We don't choose what will be presented and what will not be presented. Life is unfolding and it is being presented to us holistically. However we can be aware of and connect with it and feel it and think it, right? So it is being presented to us, we don't control it, and the only thing you can do, the only thing a powerful person does is just allows it, right? That's why teaching surrender is the only teaching you should do, but not because this is one of the most important or the only truth. teaching of surrender to life, not because I say so or some guru said it, but because it is the only truth in life. It is the only way of living where you don't live in an illusion. It is the only way of living where you don't reject a part of life, because you can't reject it, right? You can only ignore life and live in an illusion, because I said it, life is unfolding and God is in control. Then it is being presented to us, it's here, and we can only if we accept it as it is, we can fully face it, become fine with it, and because of that, get used to it and not seeing it as something scary, right? Because we get used to it, and just because of that, we lose attachment to it and we can let it go, right? This is the only way of living where you can prove to yourself resilience, therefore power, and come to actually a spontaneous, sustainable, deserved, relaxed state of energy, body and mind, because you can take life as it is, right? But you have to first take life as it is in order to prove this strength, and then be rewarded with a relaxed nervous system, energy system, body, and mind. You first need to prove yourself to this by accepting, surrendering to the life as it is. Because the only other way of living is you being presented with life, and then because you're not being fine with something, you then want to reject it. But we can't reject it, right? Because it's already here. So you can only ignore it, right? You can only pretend it is not here. So you just stop paying attention to the part that you have problem with, right? And so meditation is just that. It is just a tool, a practice of dissociating. It is, I can't accept this stress, this unpleasantness, this emotion, this sensation, this thought, whatever it is being presented in my experience. I can't face it. So I will, for a time, zone out, take time and space from life, distance myself from this because it is too much for me. So I will just observe it. This is like a timeout, right? You're not resolving anything. You are resolving zero things. You are just taking time, observing it, and remaining in that posture, being the observer of something that it is unpleasant to you. Because why would you want to even become observer of something? Only if it's too much for you, right? I don't want to become observer of anything. It is like, I have no problem with life. Life as it is comes and I accept it no matter what. It is what it is, right? I can't change it and I don't want to live in illusion, right? This is how you come to power, resilience, and then deserved relaxedness. This is the only way, because life is already here. Only once it is presented to you, you can then see, will you accept it fully, or will you pretend by ignoring a part of it that you're not accepting it fully, right? The control is the illusion. There is no control. God is in control. So practicing meditation is a clear sign of satanic infiltration in spirituality, because meditation just gives you time and space from something that's unpleasant. Because only only weak people that haven't proven to themselves their own resilience, they still, when they face something too much in their life, they want to remove themselves, distance from it, right? A strong person doesn't need that. A strong person doesn't think about meditating on life, doesn't need to observe a part of himself, because he is just fine with it, right? So it truly is a dissociation tool, because you're using it, you're observing, you're thinking, your thought, the thinker, the imagination, the feelings, sensation, emotions, other people. You're just observing all of it instead of being one with it. You are observing it and then remaining in this position. People then have this meditation as the practice for their whole life. It then just becomes a thing where you constantly dissociate, distance yourself, put in an observer role because it is too much to be one with it, and you constantly then just use this as a stress relief relaxation technique where you constantly remain dissociated from this thing that bothers you and it is too much for you, right? And this is by definition establishing dissociation. So people that meditate for years, they're just establishing dissociation. Because of that, even though they look detached, they are actually on the energetic level fully attached to it, because for them it's like, this is too much for me, I will ignore it even though it's here. And because of resisting it, then persisting it, right? If you're denying something, you're not letting it pass through. You can't leave it behind. So it is constantly with you, you being aware or not, it doesn't matter. Energetically, it is persisting, staying with you. So you actually doing the method for detaching from life. You are actually unconsciously attaching to life even harder. And I know people that have been meditating for years, and because of establishing this hard dissociation, people think that with time they get better, but they just become unconscious and more attached. Because I know people that with time, by meditating, they just develop some distortions in their own behavior, deviations, and health problems. Truly, just look at all of the gurus, how they behaved as a human being, empty of life and having some disease. Just look at it. Just look at it. Speaking about freedom while not being free in the body, right? People trying to establish freedom from unpleasantness without resolving the problem. This is just escapism, right? People are just escaping life as it is. This is weakness. This is victimness. This is serious attachment and serious delusion and illusion. Why not first, if you are such a powerful and free being, why not first try to be one with life as it is? If you are this free loving being, right? If you're this free loving being, why not first try being one with life, right? And then seeing maybe if there is something to distance from, right? Why not prove to yourself, if you are so powerful, be one with life as it is, right? It makes total sense. Be one with life because it's already here. You can't deny it. And why are you denying it? Why do you want to distance yourself from it? Because it's too much for you. You're just a pussycat. So accept life, be one with it, love it fully first, and you will see that by loving, surrendering, accepting life as it is, because of this, because of fully loving your individual holistic experience on all levels of life, yourself, allowing God to be manifested through you, because living in this openness of love, embodiment of love, you you actually leave all of the life behind, all of the past behind. Life can pass through, and because of that, be rewarded with an everlasting detachment, freedom, because you actually stayed open, and therefore everything could be resolved. Everything that was persisting and blocking you, all of the fear from the trauma, was resolved, because the moment it was presented to you, you faced it. You shook like a little pussycat, like a little bitch, and then you faced everything that life the moment demanded from you. So you remained being open with an open heart, and therefore, because of an open heart, surrender to life, everything of everything in your life can pass through you, can be left behind only once you're one with it, right? And because of that, earn, because of the resolvement of life, of your problems, of you facing the stress and unpleasantness of life and being fine with it, because of that, energetic, bodily, and then even the mind resolvement, you earning through everlasting detachment. So meditation is not something you do fake it till you make it to achieve detachment, but detachment is a reward you get after being one with life. It is the other way around. Meditation is our natural state which you get to by being one with life, by surrendering to life. But the whole world is trying to do it the other way around, and it doesn't work. You can't become free from the problem without facing it. It's impossible. Just use common sense. You can't become free from the problem by forgetting about it. It stays here. You just become unconscious of it, and you're just deepening and deepening dissociation, distance from it, and it is more and more controlling you. This is how it is. If you don't believe me, live in this satanic, delusional way, and we will meet in 10, 15 years and we will see where we are. This life is not a joke. Don't play around, be responsible, and don't live in illusions. Prove to yourself that you are a resilient being. Look at me, I'm speaking from this place, and there are people already on this level, so it is possible. See you.